Hi from Legaleech. So today, guys, we have Advocate Rohit Gattani with us, and it's a pleasure having you, Rohitji, with us. So let's just begin with the questions. And Rohitji, can you tell us a bit about your background and your journey in becoming a lawyer?
First of all, I would like to say good afternoon and thank you very much for bringing me here on with you. So it all started from my school days. My first thought was about it from my school days. I think between somewhere between class 9 to 12 during my higher education. I had a little thought about it because at that time, what used to happen, because back then, 10, 15 years ago, people used to think that, okay, engineer, doctors, here, these are just the only professions. Although now law is very prominent profession, but back then, 10 years, 15 years ago, it was not such a thing. And then when NLU especially came to pictures, then that time scenario changed a little. By now, it has changed a lot. And many people have joined now. So after that, in my 12th along with my board exams, so I prepared for CLAT, both of the sides. And at that times, that was a kind of tough time for me. I had my mother was not being well, and at that time I prepared for board exams, and then along with that I prepared for CLAT. And with CLAT I got into National Law Institute, University Bhopal, in the year 2014. And then 5 years journey therein for BLLB honors, and then learned a lot of things there, all about law, everything, whatever I am today, after my family and friends. NLIU Bhopal has played a very important role, in developing me. I must say, in developing this personality and bringing me to the level which I am here today. And after that, immediately I joined for LLM in business laws, right? Because I wanted to do some sort of specialization, and my interest was more into corporate law. So I immediately joined LLM. Like during my final year, I tried for IELTS and I got into NLU Delhi. So then it was LLM for an year, and then all these things, then litigation, then corporate life is going on.
Rohit sir, you said you are from NLU. You are an NLU graduate. That too a very prominent one, right? So mm, a debate is going on NLU and non-NLU. So versus. So you think you have edge because you have a NLU degree with you, so you automatically get an edge, or do you have an edge in some things? So what is your take on it?
I would say it's a wrong perception about NLUs, because practically what I have seen on grounds, because many places, be it corporates or law offices, people, they don't want to prefer NLU people. They are like, यार यार ये तो ज्यादा पैसे ही मांगेगा, इसको क्यों क्यों मैं मौका दूं, मुझे तो कोई दूसरा मिल जाएगा कम पैसे में. That one of the thing is that. And as far as edge is concerned, it's only a little bit. It's not that the perception that is being created nowadays that, okay, NLU people are very different. And no, we are also we are also humans, and we are also all the same. We are also the lawyers. It's only a little bit when you get only that, okay, you are from top tier NLU. So that gives a little bit of edge to your CV and nothing more. It's not that, because when we see, I have, all along my career, I have been with my colleagues, my partners, everyone is there. I saw all from all sort of colleges or universities. I've seen very brilliant. Some of them are my friends too right now, and they are from different colleges, but they are doing brilliant in their life, irrespective of their whatever and whichever place they have got their degree from.
Absolutely, sir. That's something I also agree. Edge थोड़ा बहुत होता है, but
हाँ,
real life में all have to work hard and prove
yeah,
themselves.
exactly. जो मतलब dedication से और hard work से, whoever works, he or she gets, you'll get the fruit. That's right.
Sir, what advice do you have for law students today? जो आजकल के लॉ के स्टूडेंट्स हैं या फ्रेश लॉ ग्रेजुएट्स हैं, उनको आप क्या एडवाइस देना चाहोगे?
For law students, my first and foremost advice would be personally to be updated. you watch news regularly, what I used to do, and even nowadays, I always open Google News section once a day, and I see what's going on around the world, around the nation, everything. Because in the end, everything is connected with law. Be it whatever problem we are seeing around us. Right nowadays, we saw the problem of flooding around Delhi and NCR areas. Again, law is connected there too. When like I saw, it was very sad to say. It is very sad to say and see the condition where the Supreme Court of India, it was even submerged into water, and like that was not so good situation to see. And somewhere law has to come into place, because when we see 50 years ago, Yamuna was at its place. The river was at its original place, and now because of illegal constructions and everything, the scenario changed, and the river just came back to its place. I would not say it's flooding. River came back. So taking by that example, first of all, be updated, and secondly, whatever view you have, be it you are right wing, left wing, any wing, but you should always be neutral according to the law. You should look upon things according to the law. Being a lawyer, you should look upon both sides of the coins. It's not like okay, you see one side of the coin, because when we argue in a court, we can't argue. Let's say I am arguing on the part of the plaintiff, but I can't frame my argument unless I see the defendant's file, because he also got some point. It's not that he just came into court and he's just doing just anything. He just came there for fun or anything. So a lawyer should look upon both sides of law. So first be updated and then look upon flip sides of everything. Whatever is going on, be it any political movement, be it any, because even again, politics is also connected with law. And when we see in our country, most of the politicians, they are lawyers. Most of the prominent ministers, politicians, they are lawyers. So be updated and be neutral and work as per law. Unlike a lawyer should always think of working as per law, because we have seen recent very sad incidents happening around the courts in Delhi. And in fact, lawyers are taking the law in their hands. So this should not happen. Being a lawyer, you should be neutral and you should work according to the due process that is set by law in our constitution.
Yes, sir. I am totally agreeing with you. कानून को अपने हाथों में नहीं लेना चाहिए. We are setting an example, so we should not set negative examples.
Exactly.
Positive example. So, sir, without breaching any client confidentiality, could you share some of your most challenging or memorable assignments or case where you appeared, or any assignment, any project which you had to deal with, and it was very challenging?
It was around 2021, like one of my litigation cases. So therein what happened, it was a suit about eviction of a house, and that was a suit about that. So we were on the side of defendant, and the contentions raised by the plaintiff, they were very correct. I must say they were correct, like because High Court at that time issued a notification that irrespective of lockdown or something, you have to pay your rent. And these were like, okay, no, we can't pay because हम भी नहीं कमा पा रहे हैं, तो हम पे नहीं कर पाएंगे, हम कैसे करें, तो आप कैसे भी कुछ भी निकालो. So what happened in the end, even the judge suggested us, see, judge was like, okay boss, see this, I will although take the decision basis all the pleadings and representations, but what I would suggest, that both of the parties, you should sit together, you should solve it, and tell me what's the conclusion. And then if there's not the conclusion, then I'll see what is to be done in that. So somewhere trying to settle the cases, like it's because it's very tough to settle the cases. That was one of it.
Yes, sir. So, what strategies do you use to prepare for your projects, assignments, or case appearances? Any specific strategy which you use, which is very unique to you, and we all should know, we all can benefit from it?
Unique, I wouldn't say it's unique, but yeah, being first of all being updated about the law. That's one thing, because let's say I am appearing on one point of law today, but the other day it is amended by the parliament, by the government. So we have to be updated what's going on there. And secondly, as everyone knows, reading and learning is the key in law. So like no one can run away from that. So that I would suggest, reading and learning. And updated about all the amendments and modifications, changes, even about a single notification. It's even if the change is about a single regulation and notification, one must know what's going on about that case or that particular law which you are appearing for or fighting for.
So, you are a first generation lawyer, right?
Yeah.
What difficulties you faced as a first generation lawyer, and what difficulties a first generation would lawyer would actually face, because you have seen the challenges. So, what are the difficulties and how to overcome them actually?
Yeah, that's true. Like being a first generation lawyer, it's very difficult to establish yourself in the industry because you don't have any background, you don't have anything that to support you. But these things can be overcome, like when you have good people around you, the people who make you learn. Like I remember in my first litigation job, like my partner, he always used to he because he also established his first generation office, and now he's a big good lawyer. So he always used to tell me like you have to do your best. You just do your best. Your hard work, your dedication, it will always pay off because no one will come to support you. You are at your own, so do your best. Be it due diligence of cases, doing anything. Small and smallest errors also should be noted by you. That whatever draft you are making or preparing, so it should not be free of errors. So like, and because of that, I learned a lot because of him. And like I would say, when I joined his office, he whatever drafts I used to prepare, he used to read and suggest the changes. But after a year, it was like he was like, "Boss, okay, you have drafted this. I know you have made a good draft. I'll just give an overlook and I'll pass it. There's no change required." So that's the
Yes.
thing. I overcome with being with good people and learning and doing your best. It will definite because when we know former CGI CV Ramanna, Justice CV Ramanna. He was also first generation lawyer, but he became CJI. He didn't had any support at that point of time, but he did become CJI. So if you are doing your best, your hard work, your dedication, it will always pay off one day. You have to do your karma. That's what I would say.
Yes, definitely, sir. Uh, I totally agree with you. So, according to you, what are the most rewarding and most challenging aspects of being a lawyer?
Rewarding, I would say it's again, I would say it's a perception with people that okay, lawyers earn a lot, or like lawyers like the lot learn a lot, or lawyers have lot of that what we say ये तो मतलब इनका बहुत रुतबा है और चौड़ में रहते हैं लोग. No, it's not
Hmm.
like that because I would say because yeah, but when you are good, so you are always at an edge when you are doing your good, at you are at an edge when you have your own knowledge. So at that point of time, it's good that people like they respect you when you are doing good because there are clients क्या होता है वो तो आपके फेवर में हो तो आपका साथ देंगे नहीं तो गालियां देंगे.
Hmm.
तो ये चीज कोई नोट नहीं करता है तो being that is one challenging thing to convince the client and be it right now I'm into contracts. So contracts में भी like you have to negotiate well. अगर आप negotiate नहीं कर पा रहे हो तो फिर कंपनी नहीं मानती आपको. आपका काम है अच्छे से कंपनी के लिए negotiate करना. So that's the what I would say like perks and challenges. Like when you are doing good, everything is at your perk, and like challenges always come and go. They are part and parcel of life. They never stop because that's what life is.
So, you were in litigation initially, then you switched to a pure corporate. What, um, why did you make this call? I mean, what were the reasons, if you could share, and what is the advice which you want to give to students or lawyers who are looking for the same transition which you made? बिकॉज जो आपने किया है, बहुत लोग करना चाहते हैं, लिटिगेशन से स्विच करना चाहते हैं, बट क्या होता है, बहुत फंस जाते हैं
फंस
क्योंकि
जाते हैं.
साल हो जाते हैं, 3-4 साल हो जाते हैं, देन corporates don't hire. Even if they hire them as freshers, and it is very tough getting inside the corporate scene once you are litigating, because your prior experience is next to null,
Exactly.
zero.
So in this thing, what I would say first of all, because my specialization it was very on corporate law, and
Hmm.
even during my litigation days, So for that thing, first of all, you should look into an office which not only does the criminal or civil litigation, corporate litigation nowadays, because it's a very growing concern. And you should always look an office where corporate litigation is also into picture, because in my litigation office, I used to have, I remember, three, four prominent corporates, like very big corporates, even including unicorn companies. They were my clients. So from that part, you start learning from litigation, because I would suggest litigation is must for every lawyer, at least for a year, for initial year of a career. A lawyer must do litigation, because what process goes on into the in the courts with the judges, the nature of judges, everything you come to know only when you have been on ground level. That is when you are in litigation. So first, I would suggest for initial 1 year or 1.5 year, you should always go for litigation. But I was there into litigation for initial 1.5 years. Then I switched into corporates. So after that, when I gained a good experience into litigation, and that too all-round experience, it's not just that I had one side of experience that okay, it's just criminal litigation, just civil litigation. I was into litigation with white collar crimes, with civil disputes, with property disputes, and then with corporate litigation, corporate compliances, due diligence. So that was a part of it. Then after that, I got into corporates. I learned from ground level things what are going on. I learned from litigation, and then I got into, after initial phase, I got into the corporate, and then my corporate career continued. Because when we see, even in corporate, let's say like I have to appear on behalf of my company, being an AR of my company. So there also I should know the due process of the court. Although a lawyer will be there to assist me, he's appearing on behalf of my company. I just have to go, like, be a signatory there, or help in doing the cross, in giving my cross examination or anything, being a witness or something. But for that, I should know what goes on in the law, what goes on with the judge, what goes on in the mind of judge, what goes on in the mind of your lawyer and the lawyer of the opposite party. So I would suggest litigation for initial phases must for every lawyer, and then you can
So,
start for your
yes.
corporate career.
So, having said that, how do you deal with stress, burnout, and how do you maintain work-life balance? How do you actually deal with getting drained emotionally, physically, mentally? Because it is a very demanding profession, even for those who are in corporates. So I think this is a myth कि जो corporate में होते हैं AC में बैठे रहते हैं कोई tension नहीं होती है. This is the myth, right?
No,
So
no,
stress
no.
is everywhere.
It's again like myth or perception, because when I see like my office itself, many times I have to work on weekends too. After office hours too, I have worked. I have to work many times, and like when we see like in my job itself, when let's say you are into contracts, so there are number of contracts coming in a day. Okay, you have to close this too, this too, this too. Then contracts, then you have to look upon disputes, what's going on there. Filing is again one thing there, because filing in law and is very important. So maintaining those files and everything, because I would say, and so dealing with that, every time family and then my friends, they've always been supportive to me in that thing. Whenever I have to like look upon like being switching my job, when my even like switching from the toxic environments, and like you also know know well about that, like
Yes,
when I
yes.
have those phases, so you very well know about that. So those kind of supportive people when you have in your life, you can definitely overcome everything. And those friends which I have made from my initial phase of careers, being from litigation or from my first corporate job, like that is still a very good bond that I would say. And again, and after that, my family and my friends from my university and this. So like weekends, enjoying with them, with the family or being with friends, sometimes going somewhere outside. So then that way it just goes out, life goes on.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Sir, so what are your thoughts on mentorship in legal profession?
I think it's very important. Like being a lawyer, you if you have got a good mentor, it's an advantage to you. This I would say is always an edge if you have a good mentor, or because mentor, or when we say in our language, in our tradition, when we call it guru. So one who teaches you or gives you, shows you the right path. So in that way, having a mentor or teacher like or guru in your life, it's very important. And that person that helps you, like shapes you in a very different manner from what you are, overcoming difficult situations and things. And it's not necessary that that mentor is just always an elder person or something. Sometimes even your friends act as your mentors, because many times when you are into anything that you don't know what to do, that those point of times even your friend can act as your mentor. In every small thing which happening around you, it always teaches you what's going on and what you should do. Because even when we see a small ant which is trying to chase one small seed of sugar, so it is doing its best to chase, it's also teaching us a lesson. Okay, I'll climb the wall, I'll fall down, but I'll again climb. I'll fall down, but I'll again climb. Like, नन्ही चींटी जब दीवारों पर चढ़ती है, खूब फिसलती है. तो that's the thing. Like, so being a mentor, having a mentor is very important. That's help you shaping into the person you are and giving you that personality in everything which you have and or which you are after your near future. When you look down the line after 10 years in your career, at that time you realize that.
So, what advice would you give to young lawyers who are entering the profession? According to you, what would be a piece of advice? And with this, we will be concluding. And what would be the piece? जैसे कहते हैं ना, एक आप advice देना चाहते हैं जो सबको अपने जहन में रखनी चाहिए जब ये profession में enter कर रहे हो.
See, so I would advise, being in the legal profession, patience first thing. Patience is the first thing which is the key, because it's a demanding profession, but it takes time to establish you. So first of all, you require patience, and then being cool and calm. That is also very important, because many a times there are situations like when you are into litigation, be it with your client, and when you are into your corporates, be it with your managers and bosses. So at that point of time, patience and being cool and calm, that's very important, because when we see being cool and calm, it always pays. Being patient, cool and calm, it always pays you the result. Like, we have seen prominent examples of that, being in any profession or sports or anything. Like our great sports captain, he's one of example of, we still call him Captain Cool when he's not in the part of the team. So that gave us the result, that gave country the result. So being patient, being cool and calm, it's a key to everything. That was a simple advice in one line: be patient, be cool and calm.
Thank you so much, Rohit ji, for sparing time for this interview. I'm definitely sure हमारे लॉ स्टूडेंट्स को बहुत बेनिफिट मिलेगा जो आपने टिप्स दी हैं. And you have spoken about the transition from litigation to corporate. And this is something which many of the people in the industry want to do. So
Exactly.
unko, they will be getting a lot of guidance. They would be actually benefited from listening to you, sir.
Exactly. And thank you again so much for giving me this opportunity to come on board. And one thing I would appreciate, the efforts which you and your team are doing. Like, it's a very good thing, because young students, young law students or young lawyers, today they are, many times I see they are just directionless. Sometimes they are just like, अच्छा अब college हो गया, अब हमें corporate में जाना है. They just don't know what's going on in the field. They are like, they look upon the perks, अच्छा इतना पैसा मिल रहा है, इतना आराम है, अब तो इसमें जाए. So the thing which you are doing, whatever efforts you and your team are putting into it, it will help those young students and lawyers a lot, giving them a good direction to what they have to do in their life, and how they think that that thing can bring a good result for them, for their family, for their country, everyone. Because I would say one thing: law is a profession that can even help you changing the country. Because when we see our constitution was even drafted by prominent lawyers, when we see our constituent assembly, it was part of good lawyers there. So being a lawyer, you can even do good changes to the society, to the country, and that is very well thing which is required nowadays. It is especially very much required.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.